So, hi everyone. I'm Logesswari from RMD Engineering College, working as an assistant professor in CSE department. So, in this series, in this video lecture, we are going to discuss about the cryptography and network security subject. So, the topic that we are going to discuss is on about security attacks. So, we'll start with the topic. So, before going to the topic, we will be briefly discussing on what is pin-based security. Actually, security is a wide concept. So it is in day-to-day life everywhere we need a security. Without a security, our data won't be reach it to the receiver securely. Okay, so it should be tamper-proof. It should not be hacked by someone. Okay, so the message that what we are sending from one one place to another place, it should be secure enough. So for that we need a security. So security concerns about, so whenever we are sending a data, we should make sure with whether that particular security mechanism is having the confidentiality, data integrity, and availability of the components. We will be discussing briefly about what is confidentiality, data integrity, and availability. Let's move to the next one. So these are the basic definitions. So what is meant by network security and what is meant by internet security. So it is an more or less both of the terms are said to be seems to be common, but there is some difference are there. So if it is a network security means it will concentrate only on the data that we are sending from one system to another system within the closed network, whether it could be an internet or an intranet. Okay, wow. So if it is an internet security means we have to protect our data during the transmission, where during the transmission if it reaches to over the interconnected networks, so that is said to be the internet security. So here we have network security is that it concerns about intranet. Internet security is about that what we are sending through Gmail or the WhatsApp. So that is said to be the internet security. That the data what we are sending from one place to another place, it should not be hacked by some other person. So it should have a confidentiality. So that is said to be the internet security. So this is a broad term. So we have to make sure that all the aspects has to be preserved in the computer security. What are they? It should be integrity, availability, and confidentiality. So I'll give you an example. So these are all the major goals of a computer security. So the major goals of the computer security is to preserve confidentiality, integrity, and availability. So I will be explaining you what is mean by confidentiality, what is mean by integrity, and what is mean by availability. So this is said to be the data confidentiality. Actually, here data confidentiality can be viewed in two different ways. One is secrecy, second one is the privacy. So secrecy is the term where it is applied to the wide organization or in the company. So it is a wide aspect. So that is said to be a secrecy. So if it is a privacy means it should be an individual person. They it applies to the individual person. So that is said to be the secret privacy. Okay, so as you can see that data confidentiality is that assures that private or confidential information is not made available to the unauthorized individuals. Who are the unauthorized individuals? Who are not belonging to that organization are said to be or considered to be an unauthorized individuals. So next we coming to the point of privacy. As you can see that so each and every person should have a privacy is there. So they have to whenever we are using our laptop or a desktop, we are using some passwords. Why? Or in our mobile phones we are also using some passwords. Why? We have to make sure that other person should not view our messages. So that is applying only to your private person, that applies to a single individuals. So that is said to be the privacy. Okay, so whenever we are creating an building and security system, it should ensure that the system should be accessible only by the authorized person. It should not be accessible by the unauthorized person. Okay, got it, students? Next, we go on to the integrity. Here we have two different ways. It is also can be viewed in two ways. Like one is data integrity, second one is the system integrity. So data integrity makes sure that whatever the message that we are sending from one place to another place, so it should not be changed, it should not be altered, so it should be same message has to be received to the receiver side also. So that is that it should, that implies the data integrity assures that information and programs are changed only in the specified and the authorized manner, not by the unauthorized person. So here in case of a system security, other persons should not, that means unauthorized person should not access the software, are not supposed to enter the access the softwares or the login credentials. That is said to be the system security. Next we move on to the second one is availability. It is very important. Availability is that we have to make sure that whether the authorized person could able to access the system at from anywhere at any time. Okay, best example is the uh, we can able to get the transaction details from for our account from anywhere, from any at any time. So that is said to be the availability. This at if I want to get a data at that 1 p.m. means I can able to get the retrieve the data from the server. That is said to be availability from anywhere. If I'm residing in India, but if, my account is in India, but if I move on to some, if I'm traveling to some other place, so from that place also I could able to get the retrieve the data. So it should be available at all times, at any time, at any cost. I want to get the data, that is said to be, that is considered to be the availability. Next we go on to the network security is there. We have this is a normal flow, so whenever I'm sending the data, that will be reached to the receiver. Okay, so here we have four possible attacks are there. One is the interruption. So interruption is that someone is making our data to be unavailable or use now unusable, or should be a denial of service. That is said to be interrupting our work. So that is said to be interruption. Next one is the here you can see that I can, if that interceptor can cut the wires or jam the wire signals or drop the packets, that is said to be intercept. Next is interception. Someone is hacking our message or overhearing or eavesdropping or stealing our data. So and some other unauthorized persons can able to overhearing our conversations. That is said to be interception. Next one is the eavesdrop. So next is modification. The unauthorized persons can able to tamper the data, okay, or alteration of the data or modification of the messages. That is said to be the modification. Fabrication means attaching some other data. Okay, so attaching some other data or adding a password to the system, like impersonalization. That is said to be pretending to be a real user, but actually this man is not actually a real user. He is pretending to be the real person, but it is not known to the receiver. So unknowingly he could thought that, so I'm doing the conversation with my own friend, but in reality it is not like that. So that is said to be the impersonalization. Okay, next one is, this is the important concept, which is the OSI security architecture. So we have to frame a security architecture so such a way that it provides a systematic way. Okay, so it could be acceptable by all the systems, okay, all the networks. So that, so it should be OSI security architecture, it is a standard. Okay, so if I want to build a security architecture, I have to adhere with this concept. it's not my wish to I can't able to create as my own. I have to adhere with these concepts. I have to follow these protocols to define or to create a OSI uh, to create a security architecture. Sorry. So here this is a standard, and then in this we have to concentrate on three areas. So while creating this architecture, I have to concentrate on three areas. What are they? One is the attack, and the second one is the mechanism, and third one is the services. So in this cryptography lecture series, in the first class we will be discussing only on attacks. In further coming classes we will be discussing on mechanisms and services. Okay, got it, students? We move on to the attack. So as we all know that what is main attack. So it is basically an action so that compromises the security of information owned by the organization. So any unauthorized person could able to access a system. Okay, so if any unauthorized person could able to access system, it implies that the system is vulnerable. Okay, the system is weak. Okay, so security of that particular system is so weak so that others could able to easily they can gain the access to enter the system. So that's why it is said to be the attack. Okay, so we have to prevent the attack, as well as we have to detect the attack also. If we fail to prevent or detect the attack, our entire system will be useless. Okay, so here we have two different types of attacks are there. One is a passive, second one is the active attack. So what is meant by passive means passive attack is that here that eavesdropper could able to access the resources without knowing to the receiver. Why? Because it is not altering any messages, so it is not going to affect the system resources at all. So that's why it is given here. A passive attack attempts to learn or makes use of the information from the system but does not affect the system resources. So this is said to be the passive attack. Next one is the here we have two different types of attacks are there. One is the release of message contents. Next one is the traffic analysis. Example of release of message contents is the telephone conversations. So um, the attacker could able to eavesdrop or monitor. Okay, but it is not known to the other person, the person which are on the other side. Next one is the active attack. It is opposite to that passive attack. Here the attacker can attempt to alter the system resources which will affect their operation. Here we have four different types of attacks are there. One is the masquerade, replay is there, modification of messages, and denial of service. Masquerade is that the person will be pretend to be another user. So that is said to be the masquerade. So one entity pretends to be a different entity. Okay, so that is would be a masquerade. Second one is a replay. Replay attack means that we are the attacker could able to retransmit the data one more time. So that is said to be the replay attack. And third one is the modification of messages. This is the one that we have discussed in the earlier slides itself. So the attacker could able to hack the messages and do some modifications and send it to the other party, the person who's on the other side. So that is said to be the modification of the messages. Here the messages are going to be altered. Okay, and then finally we have denial of services. Denial of services means which prevents the legitimate user to hack the legitimate user to access the resources. Okay, so that is said to be the denial of services. Okay, so I think up to this it's over. So we will be continue this cryptographic lecture series in further coming classes. Thank you.